Hello there, you beautiful lot. Adam Cleary from FourFourTwo here. You're looking really well, I have to say. And Declan Rice. Just Declan Rice. That's the intro. Alright, so as you no doubt saw on Sunday, Arsenal came from 1-0 down to beat Manchester United in the most thrilling and dramatic of just classic Premier League circumstances. But the man getting all the praise for his winning goal and his overall performance was, of course, Declan Rice. Now, Arsenal spent a frankly eye-watering sum of money to bring him into the club, and when you have a player like that, you are hoping that fairly quickly they have the kind of statement performance that shows that transfer was worth it. Now, I think personally that game against Man United was that statement performance. I think it says a lot about how they're using him, what he's doing, how he's developing as a player. But before we start, I just want to address the one question mark you might have over that, and that is that it was a goal from a corner and it broke nicely for him and it took a deflection. It wasn't some brilliant piece of build-up play that he was instrumental in. Can you really make these kind of sweeping generalizations, these sweeping statements from such a goal? And in short, yes, you can, because you have to ask the question, why was Declan Rice, of all people, the man at the back post waiting for that chance to drop? Because common sense would tell you not to put a player like Declan Rice in that position that late in the game with everything still in the balance. He is a defensive midfielder. He's known for his tackling and his ball winning, and Man United's best chances, indeed their goal, came from situations where they were able to remove him from that position. Like if we look at Rashford's opener, Man United are able to turn the ball over while Declan Rice is here. Yes, it's a bad ball from Kai Havertz, but if Rice was in the position you would expect him to be, that sort of run from Eriksen, and indeed the chance as a whole, probably doesn't come about. They were able to exploit the fact he wasn't where he's supposed to be. And indeed, the goal that looked like it might have won the game for Manchester United before VAR did its whole VAR thing. Declan Rice is the player in that position attempting to stop that pass from happening. It only comes about because he just misses that tackle. So again, we go back to the question, why was Declan Rice, of all players, the one at the back post? Arsenal had plenty of other attacking options. They had better headers of the ball. They had players more suitable to be trying to score from a corner, and you would think you would want somebody like him with his ball playing ability and his defensive role to be on the edge of that box. You probably expect him to be here. Because, I mean, you can't say Arsenal hadn't been warned at that point if the corner had been bad or it had just broken kindly to a Man United player. They were almost certainly going to spring another counter-attack on them. So why not have Rice there? Well, very simply, my friends, because the Declan Rice we saw at West Ham is not the Declan Rice at Arsenal. He is in that position, in the box, looking for a chance because that is his job. And I'll show you what I mean here, right? When Arsenal signed Declan Rice, I think everybody assumed they would stay with their 4-3-3 shape and he would play here. He's effectively just a premium upgrade on Thomas Partey, and if they want to do their box midfield, then Zinchenko would come across and they'd get it that way. And we've even seen them using Partey at right back. He then comes across, Rice stays in the middle, and they've got their four that way. But this is not what has been happening. Declan Rice is not playing as either a single pivot or a double pivot in this Arsenal side. He's playing as an 8. And just in case you're not totally sold on that being his job, we know that's his job because he literally told us that's his job. Recently, I was able to sit down with him and we talked about how he likes to play, the tactics at Arsenal, what he does on a football pitch, and one of the major things he came out with was, I don't really see myself as a defensive player, I want to see myself as more of an attacking player, and the role he was giving at Arsenal, the instructions he was getting from Arteta, were designed to allow him to expand that part of his game. And yes, that video will be in full on the channel in the very, very near future. I think this week. I'll see when I get a chance to edit it, but it should be along fairly shortly. So if you would like to watch that, if you don't want to miss it, do make sure you hit the subscribe button at some point during this video, because A, that really helps out and we get more subscribers, and that's really, really good for us. But also, you'll know when the Rice vid drops, so win-win. And you can see this in his passing map from the game. If he was playing as a 6 or just in the pocket in front of the defense here, these would be a lot shorter, they would be a lot simple, there'd be far fewer of them dotted around the flanks. They would all sort of be concentrated in this area. But as you can see, he's absolutely everywhere. But the really, really telling thing here is not in his successful passes. We'll just get rid of those. They are in his unsuccessful passes. Every single time he lost the ball for Arsenal, barring just that random one on the channel, forget about that, he was trying to play a killer pass into one of the attackers in the final third of the pitch. And if you remember, that was one of the criticisms he had at West Ham. Like, his ability was undeniable, he was great in the tackle, he was obviously a great leader for that club, but he just didn't influence things regularly enough in the final third. That's what was stopping him being considered the next great English midfielder. And while it's a small sample size, admittedly, we've only had 4 games, if we look at the number of completed passes into the final third this season, Declan Rice is 5th. Out of every player in the league, 5th. And this is why Arsenal spent that much money on him. They think there is a player in there who is going to evolve to be as effective in this part of the pitch as he was in this part of the pitch. And what's been so impressive about these early games he's had for Arsenal is he isn't even really compromising his ability in this area. He's still contributing massively defensively, but he's starting to add a lot more in this part as well. For combined tackles and interceptions this season, he's currently 15th in the league, which might not sound that impressive, but you've got to bear in mind that there's like 400 players in the Premier League who've already got minutes, and 15th out of 400 really isn't that bad. And the majority of the ones above him all play for teams who are doing a lot more defending, who see a lot less of the ball. Like, just for context, Rodri is currently the highest Manchester City player in that league, and he's in the 30s somewhere. So it's not really a stat you associate with the top teams, but Rice is still contributing a lot there. He defend, he attack, he now also advertise yogurty snack. That's what I genuinely think has been so impressive about how he's being used at Arsenal, because that's why he was loitering at the back post. That's why he wasn't just sitting on the edge of the box. His primary role was to help Arsenal score more goals and thus win more games. But he's doing that all while still being so able and so smart in how he chooses to defend. Arsenal should have gone 1-0 up in this game when Kai Havertz somehow just stuck his fingers down his throat when he should have scored a goal. But if we rewind that clip back far enough, it comes from Rice really well reading the game, seeing an opportunity to challenge for the ball, winning it back and forcing that turnover. But I think the really interesting thing about that one particular tackle is where in the pitch it takes place. Like, it's in the central third of the pitch. Rice is contributing really well to Arsenal's defending. He's winning the ball back really well. But if we break that down by where he's doing it, again, have to stress, yes, very small sample size. We've only played 4 games, but the numbers already show that he's far more likely to be winning the ball back in the middle third of the pitch than he is in the defensive third of the pitch. And I mean, yes, that's because Arsenal play right on the front foot. They push much further up the pitch than the vast majority of teams in this league. The middle third practically is their defensive third when they lose the ball, but the fact that Rice is getting back into that position when they lose possession, and still, let's go back to his pass map, able to float around the pitch as much as he is and be in these dangerous areas, that's such a huge tool to have in your, pardon the pun, Arsenal. Wait, tools in your Arsenal? That's not, you don't have tools in your Arsenal, do you? You have tools in your toolbox. You have weapons in your Arsenal. That's what I meant. And there isn't a useful statistic for this, but it was noticeable in the game, the amount of times Declan Rice got on the ball, faced up the pitch, and either ran it forward himself, or when he did play it to a teammate who was in an advanced position, kept that run going. Now, when you do that, yes, you do create holes that Manchester United were occasionally able to exploit, but you do also force the game further up the pitch. You provide another body in dangerous areas to try and make things happen with. And that is the challenge that has been laid down by Mikel Arteta to Declan Rice this season. You have to contribute as an attacking player in the final third, but when we lose possession, you are our best tool for winning that ball back. Can you do both? And that is why this game looked like being such a statement performance from him, because the answer seems to be yes, he can. He can still be a really important part of the defense. He'll win the ball back. He'll close down passing lanes. He'll intercept the ball. He'll do all of that, but he will push forward. He will force things to happen. He will lurk at the back post at a corner in injury time and get you that winning goal. Now, of course, the downside to this is that it does make Arsenal a little bit more open, makes them slightly more vulnerable to the counter-attack. I think if we go back to the exact moment Havertz loses that ball, I actually don't think Arsenal concede that goal last season, because Thomas Partey would not be here. Thomas Partey would have been here. He would not have thought to make that run into the channel to try and make things happen. He would have been a more conservative presence in that team. So Arsenal have to find that balance of still having that defensive solidity while being a bit more adventurous, and they are still quite not there yet, in my opinion. That's the thing, isn't it? While I don't think they concede that one specific goal last season, I also don't think they go on and score the second either. Like, the corner comes about because they are really putting that squeeze on Man United, trying several different things that they wouldn't have been able to do last season to get away through, and they get the goal because they were happy to commit their defensive midfielder into the box to try and just see if anything would happen. It's a risk you take, and when it pays off, it's great. I'll put it to you this way, right? I think over the course of this season, Arsenal are almost certainly going to concede more goals, but conversely, I do think they are going to win more games. And that's football. So, yes, there you go. Could sit here for absolutely ages and talk about the tactical intricacies of that game and VAR this and VAR that, but I think by a mile, the most interesting thing about it was this man. Well, I mean, no, obviously not literally this man. This is a Subbuteo figure. He's not even a real person. Declan Rice. That's what I meant to say. And again, if you would like to watch the full interview we've got coming up with him, please make sure you subscribe to 442 here on YouTube. And if you don't care about that, but you just like the video in general, why not? It's just fun to click that button. In the meantime, though, grab me on Twitter at Adam Cleary, CLERY, 442 socials, absolutely everywhere in the corner of the video. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. Bye. Yeah, that's it. Bye. Bye.